It is obvious that there's a lot of people that want to see the Cambridges fail in any way possible, and that's why they will look for anything just to smear them. Just like this exchange on their trip to Jamaica, which was widely regarded by trolls as proof that Catherine did not want to get near that woman. But let's take a closer look, shall we? Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Just as a quick reminder, there are only 48 hours left until my second anniversary merch collection disappears from my store. So if you want to grab a shirt, a mug, or a hoodie with my intro on it, then go right now to the link in the description. But well, the Cambridges Jamaica trip has been thoroughly used to smear them in any way possible. In fact, my first idea for this video was that interaction between Catherine and Jamaican politician Lisa Hanna. According to the clip by this Instagram channel, Slick Jamaica, they pretended that Hannah was not impressed with Catherine, or what's more, she was intently ignoring her. Something that Hannah vehemently denied on her Twitter account, and despite all the proof of solid, friendly interactions in every other image and video source, well, trolls just wanted to push this narrative in any way possible. They were convinced that Hannah was giving her the cold shoulder, and she somehow forgot that the cameras were rolling at that moment, so that was an instant of spontaneity where her true feelings towards the monarchy just went through. Yes, when people on the internet want to believe something, they will even risk letting their stupidity show. Pretty much the same as all the outrage about how wrong the photos of Catherine greeting people through a fence made her look. And I'm not gonna mention those individuals here. That's what they want, to have more outrage with any kind of argument, because they did not say anything when the Jamaican-born football player Raheem Sterling, who played for the Manchester City and the England national team, did exactly the same greeting through the fence because, shocking news, it was a football field. But you can imagine that if Catherine had not reached out to the people on the fence, then these trolls would have said that she's such a snob, who does she think she is? And since she reached out to everyone on the fence, then it's a bad thing. So that's something that anybody with a public life should get used to, but I have said this so many times, it is a bit difficult to remain silent when you see these trolls trying to paint a picture that never happened. And by the way, that Instagram channel that published the Lisa Hanna clip, they deleted the video. Make of that what you will. So we arrive at this other clip that was making the rounds on the internet, and it's from that same moment at the football field. Catherine, according to the eyes of all these royal pundits, doesn't want to be touched by the woman and recoils. And of course, if you use a tiny, low-resolution sample of that clip, it will be very hard to spot what really happened. That's why I made sure to find and use the clip with the highest possible resolution and quality. The first argument is that Catherine literally stepped back away from the woman, and that's wrong. Because at the start of the clip, Catherine was already moving backwards, and it's easy to guess that despite wearing comfortable shoes, a football field is never the most uniform surface, so that first movement could have been adjusting her position. If we just talk about stepping backwards or turning your body away, then the man next to her would have the same attitude, because he made the exact same movement as Kate, just fixing his position. You see? Both of them make the same movement. It's like watching them dance or something. And yes, another thing about grass is that heels are going to sink. And for heels, I mean both women and men's heels. So that's another reason why, if you don't have the right shoes, you will already feel uncomfortable. In fact, in the same clip, we can see that Catherine was putting her foot sideways a bit. So she was trying to stabilize with the side of the shoe while standing on the grass. So the next stop is when the woman has her arm extended towards Catherine. This is the moment that people claim that she flinched or had an adverse reaction or something. But let's take a look in slow motion to better understand what happened. First of all, Catherine did not flinch. In fact, she actually gives her arm to the woman so the woman can actually guide her. There, she gives her arm. She moves it forward. If there was any reaction of dislike, the arm would move in the opposite direction, away from the woman, but that's not what happens here. So the claims that Catherine moved her hand away from the woman, well, you have already seen it with your own eyes. never happened. But what about the claims that she moved her body away from her? Well, let's take another look. There is no way to miss the fact that Catherine stepped forward to get closer to the woman. But before executing that action, we already know that the ground was not exactly easy to navigate, so she made sure before making that step to look down. It makes sense because she wants to be sure where she's going to go. She doesn't have any problem with stepping forward, but in that looking down, she had to keep her balance. That's why her body just sways for a split second, but no more than that. You can imagine that she really didn't want to make a misstep. Now, we are very good at spotting faces and especially hands. And what I think happened on those low-resolution clips is that people thought that Catherine actually moved her hand away from the woman when she reached out for her. So let's do a very simple exercise. Let's focus on Catherine's hands exclusively. But to do that, we have to get rid of the background and also the woman's hand too. That's how we can actually focus on the movement of Kate's hands and even her body. As you can see, there's no further reaction besides just beginning to fiddle with her own fingers. There's no flinch, there's no backing off. Nothing that tells you that there was any kind of reaction to the woman reaching out to her. But the only way to see this is with a good video source. Now let's address the claims of Catherine being cold at the moment. It would not make sense that if she manages to behave pretty much the same all the time and she has this warm personality all the time and even went to reach the people on the other side of that fence, it doesn't make much sense that she somehow would have a different attitude at this moment. Again, there's the argument that she somehow was not aware of the cameras and her true feelings then went through. But I've said this many times on my analysis of any celebrity or royal. You cannot jump to conclusions by a single body language signal. You need to have more than one clue and begin stacking them so you can reach a conclusion. And it's too easy to assume that a lone or single behavior clue has the weight to define someone's attitude at any given moment, because it just doesn't work that way. That's why it's never enough to look at a 2 or 3 second clip to have any idea of what happened. You need to know the circumstances, like the grass in this case, or the shoes she was wearing, or how she was trying to balance herself on that ground. With practice, you'll start to pick up body language signals on the fly. Yes, but equally important is to be able to make sense of them depending on the context, circumstances, and everything. And most importantly, with a close check on your own biases. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.